Hi, welcome to European Utility Week. This is a bit of a trip report. Carol and I are just going to do a bit of a two-camera observation of what we saw at this year's European Utility Week. The Angerati presence is massively bigger.
Yeah.
And we've been roped into all sorts of things, so that's quite cool. So we get to see the event from a different angle. So I'm just going to kick it off. It's like one of the interesting conversations that was happening this year is about sustainability and how that fits within the energy ecosystem. I think up until now, it's always been about how we are interacting with it's been very functional almost. But there was this conversation about trying to get an anchor around sustainability. Where I felt it broke down is no one really defined sustainable for who, right?
Right.
Sustainable for the utility or sustainable for me as a consumer, so on. So that was interesting. And then some of the other things that are interesting is like actually some of the small change in the exhibit profile. Seeing actual utilities rather than just smart meters and box shifters. Can I say that?
I think you can.
I can.
Yeah.
I just did, right? And just the utilities and some of the aggregators. But that's kind of just my feeling. What did you get?
Well, your sustainability complaint, it's not a bad one, but it's really similar to the complaints that many of us who have come to these events and even this event for the last 4 or 5 years, which I've been coming, are certain buzzwords that fall into it. And so there's been customer experience, and then that had its heyday, and then data analytics, and all along the while has been the utility business model. Poorly defined all the time. I will say this is the first conference that I remember talking or being involved with where I was actually seeing discussions of not how we're going to change the business model, but look, here it is, here's what's changing, here's what's going on. And to hear several times during the show somebody, a high-level stakeholder say, we are rapidly approaching $0 energy. That's pretty mind-blowing. So if you haven't gotten your mind around that you need a new business model by now, you've kind of missed the boat.
Well, just following on from that, also the number of utilities who are splitting. Well, here's our new business, and it's kind of around renewables and new business models, and it's the innovative agile piece. And over there is our lignite, coal, nuclear,
right.
and we're going to shove that. That was, and then on the data analytics piece, I think you're right. You know, that bubble has been burst. We've hit the end of the hype cycle, and what is interesting for me is that people are finally starting to talk about outcomes, right?
That's right.
What does that data do?
Goals and outcomes. And in the one-on-one interviews, several years ago, when you would bring up some of these hard questions, and it was data analytics and customer experience like ad nauseum for a long time, and we would try to talk about what do you mean, what are your goals, what are your measurable outcomes, how does this move your company forward, how does this move the industry forward? Not a lot of specifics. Not only are people getting specific about their project outcomes, they're talking readily about new alignments with academic institutions, city managers, other countries even, and doing things way out of bounds.
And that is another complete sea change. The amount of presenters who are up there saying, look, we're a utility, but we know we can't do this, so we're partnering with so-and-so, this bigger partner ecosystem. Must be new to these guys.
Listen,
right?
though, we did some polls this morning in the opening plenary, and the buzz, or the sort of the name of this is, I think, the energy revolution, or that's the tagline, or that's what we're investigating. And so the poll was about what is the energy revolution, and it was pretty much, just taken away overwhelmingly by that is enabled by partnerships. That's enabled by partnerships, and that is way different than anything I've seen.
And just to reinforce that, my sustainability poll, what will create the sustainable business ecosystem? Collaboration and partnerships.
That's right, those partnerships.
So should we end that trip report on that?
I think we should.
It's about collaboration and partnerships. That's the theme of day one. Thanks for watching.
All right, cheers.